Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rhiannon Harvest. I am a witch and folk practitioner as well as a pagan and an occultist, and today I wanted to do a little bit of a celebration. I finally reached my 2,000 follower marker here on YouTube, and I am so very pleased and excited about it. I am so grateful for all of you who have chosen to give my channel a chance and become part of my little coven. So this is a little Q&A. I have only a few questions here because I have been a little inactive as of late, but I promise you guys I'm going to be posting several times a week. At this point you would already have a video posted about 3 or 4 days ago uploaded, and that was my small creator tag where I tagged 13 small witchy creators. So if you've not seen that yet, definitely go check it out. But with that all said, if you are new here, please subscribe down below and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss out when I post. And let's get into these questions. I am hoping to do this a lot more often, maybe like a cozy tea with me or something like that, and answer some questions with you. Maybe we can do some lives. I'm not sure. Maybe a witchy wine Wednesday or something like that. That would be really fun for me and for you, hopefully, if you enjoy a nice beverage and a little hangout. So let me know down below in the comments, and let's get into these questions. Okay guys, so I'm getting these questions from over on my community tab on YouTube. This is a place where you definitely want to check out frequently. I'll be posting bonus stuff over there, my thoughts throughout the week, as well as I'll be announcing when I have different collaborations over there, so you don't miss out when they're on other channels. I'll be doing polls and asking you what you want to see on the channel, and that way I can make better content for you, and just kind of sharing everyday things over there that you might not necessarily get over on Instagram or anything like that. So definitely go and check out the community tab. That's going to be a great place to interact with me, and I will see your questions a whole lot sooner and be able to get back to you right away. Okay, so the first question I have here is from Poppy Rose Witch. They say, I am so glad that I've recently found you. Your videos are like watching a friend. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much, Poppy. That's very sweet of you. I guess my question is, what sparked your interest in witchcraft? Has it always appealed to you in some way, or were you introduced to it? I'm excited for your video. Okay, so well, for me, I've always kind of been interested in the occult and witchcraft. I was always that weird kid who maybe past their age requirement where they should stop believing in fantasy. I was that kid in junior high where I was carrying around a little binder that my neighbor had made me, full of correspondences for the fae and poems and fantasy, folklore and all of this stuff about the fae, and I was carrying it around like my first grimoire, and that's actually really what sparked how I started working with the fae. And I think because of my belief in them, I was able to meet one. I do have a video of that up on my channel. The audio quality is terrible. Maybe one day I'll be able to re-record it with a bunch of different of my paranormal experiences. Let me know if you'd like that down below. But if you'd like to check it out, you can still check it out. It's still a fun little chat over there. But yeah, I got to meet a fairy queen in Kimberley, BC when I was visiting my great-grandmother. So that, I think, what really sparked a lot of my continuation. I've always believed in it, and I've always been a weird kid making potions and brews and wanting to garden, like helping my grandfather in the garden, and having these strong connections to plants before I really knew what they were. Like for strawberry and lilac, that's like some of my most powerful plant allies, and I was so strongly tied to them for so long before I even knew what it was. I had inklings of different intuition bursts, perhaps, like where they're trying to communicate with me. I had no idea what they were, so it was always just kind of something there in the background, and I feel like over the years things have just kind of pushed me into different areas of the occult and saying, okay, your body needs this now, we're doing this now. I had an interaction with a little willow tree in my family front yard, and it was planted on the day of my birth, and that sparked a lot of like the like research into the occult. I've always kind of knew what it was, but I never really like researched it deeply. And that experience sparked me to look into like what this was, and it turned out to be grounding and centering, and my tree helped me with that. So again, willow is one of my strong plant allies, and it will always be that way. I feel like it was my first sister in the craft. So yeah, I feel like I was like shown in some kind of weird spiritual way where I was never like taught through my family or anything like that, but spirit was like, okay, it's time for this now, let's get this started, let's like teach this lesson. So yeah, I think it was always kind of just meant to be. Next is a series of questions from Magical Crafting. She says, congrats Rhiannon, here are a few questions that popped up into my mind for your Q&A. Which deities do you work with? Okay, let's start with that one. So currently at the moment, I work with several. So I work with Artemis, I work with Apollo as a devotional to Artemis. I work with Mercury, his candle is just back here, or Hermes. I work with Aphrodite, and I also work with Bridget and Coedwin. And I basically work within the Celtic and Greek pantheons at the moment, but I have been feeling called to a few different pantheons at the moment, so I'm not sure how much I can take on at the moment. I do want to start working with a dark goddess, so I'm not sure if that's going to be the Morrigan or Hecate, but we'll see. I'm not sure what lessons need to be learned there, so I might be adding another on. Next one is a good question, is do you have a witchcraft budget for supplies or decor? That is actually a really good idea. I never even thought of it, and I should. I really should, and I don't. I kind of just get anything I need at the moment or want, and that ensues in a bunch of witchcraft hauls that I am purchasing. I haven't really like done a lot of hauls on the channel, but I do purchase a lot of them for myself and I enjoy them quite a lot. I think my last one was like a $300 haul from like Rite of Ritual, but that's generally when I'm like restocking up my products and my supplies, and I'm experimenting a lot with products that I want to develop for a shop at some point, so the cost kind of goes up from there sometimes depending on my personal wants for my practice and then supplies that I'm experimenting with. But that's a really good idea, and I think I might add that into my bullet journal for my like witchy planning is an actual budget. I never even thought of it. Thank you, Amy. And last is, how do you balance a YouTube channel, a podcast, a spiritual life, and a daily life? I really don't. I don't. I actually have been feeling really awful lately because I feel like I haven't been able to post as much as I'd like to. I have been struggling with being able to post frequently. I think my last post before this last week, the last two posts this last week, I posted maybe 3 weeks ago, and that's not something I wanted. I wanted to post like 2 or 3 times a week, and when I started at the beginning of the year, and it's been difficult. And for my podcast wise, I've not really posted a lot. I think I have like under 20 episodes on there right now from the last 2 seasons, because I'm just kind of getting the hang of it, and I'm starting to learn like the seasons of like finding guests and recording with them, and then like recording extras in between of my own conversations with you guys, and I find it really difficult to balance it all. So I really don't, and I think I'm just trying to like do my best, and if I feel burnt out, I kind of just take a rest. But like, if you guys have advice out there, if you run podcasts or YouTube channels or whatever, let me know in the description below. Let Amy and I know, because you know, your girl is getting tired sometimes, and you know, I wanted to get another video out today, So I have 5 hours by myself today, so I'm filming. But I would like to get a couple podcasts up and going again. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. If you guys have any witchy creators that would like to guest or you'd like to see on the channel, definitely let me know in the comments below and I'll approach them and see what they think, because I would like to get that going more consistently again. Okay, the next series of questions is from Ivy the Occultist, or Ivy Corvus. She says, congratulations, 3 questions. You don't have to answer them all, but I will, because I didn't get many responses today, but that's okay. Number 1, what was the most impactful spell you have ever done? What did you do and what were the results? The first one would be, the most impactful spell would be my love spell. I guess it would be like an uncrossing for love working, and like a manifestation bringing that person around. I know a lot of people think that love workings are taboo, but for myself it actually brought the person about in the right timing, and it helped us to clear blockages that may have not made the timing correct at the time. So basically, first off, I started off with like a love letter to the universe, and I basically wrote out my dream partner and everything possible. I think I had 3 or 4 pages worth of detail, and exactly what I wanted with the universe, and I let that sit for a while with myself, and then I put that under a candle and I sent that off into the universe. And then a few days later, I had been like deleting this dating app and like re-downloading it and doing that over and over again, and I just had this inkling in the middle of the night and I re-downloaded it, and I started flicking through the pictures, and my partner at this time popped up. I had to message them. I really wanted to, but I was scared, and I was sitting there like contemplating on messaging them, and then they messaged me first, and we were writing like books worth of like content to each other back and forth, and it was about a month before we really first met. And then I think they were going to Barcelona with their mom, and I basically waited up late to talk to them because they were on the other side of the world at the time. So as they were getting up, I was going to bed and waiting to speak to them a little bit, and we were both doing that. And then I finally met them when they came back. We started dating, and I was like, okay, like a couple weeks into this, I knew they were the one that I wanted. But I had gone through so much heartbreak before and so many problems in my love life, so I was wanting to make sure that that wasn't going to happen again. So I basically made a petition to the universe and to the families on both sides of their family and mine, and I said, hey, this person, I am feeling intuitively like my partner at the time, like this was the person that I'm supposed to be with. This is the person I felt like I had that specific dream of a while ago at the time, and I was like, okay, is this the person for me? And I did a couple of workings where I had to really work with the candle and communicate with the other side, and I was like, okay, what can I do to make this happen, to open the roads for our relationship? And I basically made a plea to them to say, you know, if we are both ready on either side, if you're able to clear any blockages that might come in the way of our highest and greatest good, could you please do that for us? And because I'm committed to this person. And basically there was a lot of chatter between the candles, and I basically made a sweet jar and a petition paper, and I put the petition paper in with like rice, honey, a little shell, cherries. I think it was like fresh cherries and strawberries. I had wine. It was the first time I ever used like fresh fruit and ingredients in my spells. Before I had only ever used like dried. I don't remember the rest. I don't know how much I want to divulge in that, but basically it was an offering to love, and I put their name in there with like a hoodoo styled like petition, and I signed my name over it, and I put a candle over it, let it melt down in the middle of these two working candles between the two sides that were chatting and like basically coming up with a solution for the situation and seeing if this is something that they would allow for both parties. And in the end, I basically like meditated every day. I was like working through like blockages for myself because I would get really anxious and scared, and I would want to like cancel sometimes our hangouts, and I had to work through those. I would do that a lot at that time with everyone I was around. I had a lot of like social anxiety, and I worked through that. I'd have a meditation before every date, so I'd get myself to that date, and it worked splendidly. We were together 5 years this year, and we were so in love, and yeah, basically it turned out amazingly. So it's a type of love working. It's not like a love spell I'm putting on someone, but it is a love working to open the roads and sweeten it, and basically plead to the family, saying, hey, I'm dedicated, I'm here, what can I do? So yeah, that was the first stepping into like spirit work I did, where I was like really making a plea to the spirit that I was ready to work with them and make this happen. The next question Ivy asks is, what are you currently deep diving into, or what subjects are next for you to explore? Currently I've been back and forth hoping to work with a dark deity of some sort for a long time. That's why I really enjoyed your video, Ivy, of working with a dark goddess for a year. I think I said it in the tag video that I posted the other day, 6 months, so sorry about that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot, and I've been like bouncing back and forth between like Morgan and Hecate, and with the Hades archetype. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I want to work with a male deity for that. We shall see. But right now I'm diving into dragon magic, dark goddess magic, kind of looking into like personal power, and I really want to look into deepening my strengths with meditation. I would love to take a few classes and certifications going forward so that I can start developing more meditations and perhaps put those up for content and for release for you guys, perhaps even on my website at some point. I'd like to help people like dive into their psyche a little bit more and be able to reach areas that they may not necessarily be able to as easily. I know for myself, when I first started working with the astral and working more internally, I was struggling a lot with my visualization. I have a lot better of a handle on it now, but I know I was struggling with that, and I did do a lot better when I had guided meditations to like show me what should a journeying really look like, where am I going, and like what is the inside look like for me, and what does like my internal world look like, how do I develop that, how do I access that. So I'm wanting to work on my meditation certification really badly. So yeah, and then I'm kind of developing an oracle card deck for myself for my personal use at the moment. I think we mentioned that on our last secret chat we had with our group. But yeah, that's currently what I have going on at the moment. Lastly, what is your perspective on magic? Do you practice via the psychological model, the spirit model, the energy model, the meta model, etc.? I think it kind of varies. I think that's how, in a lot of ways, how our practices are a little similar, and I start to see that every day where I'm like, am I more of a chaos magic minded person? I'm not sure, because I feel like I believe everything all at once and then maybe nothing all at once. So I don't know, you can tell me what you think of that, but I've worked with archetypal energies and I continue to. So I work with Xena. She's not technically a deity. I guess you would call her like an Aries archetype for me. And I work with a couple different pop pantheon kind of energies. And I do work with like a spiritual model. Like I feel like it does exist. I feel like the deities that I work with are are real and they are sentient beings on their own. But I also see how they could all be archetypes of one energetic being like the great all. And I think that comes to mind to me because like my indigenous side of my family all believed in like the great one, and that is like the overarching like energy of like God would be the great one or the universe. So I can see it in that perspective as well. So I think everything. I hope that answers the question. I don't know. The next question I have is from Lavender Hazelwood. What are your favorite and least favorite things to do in your practice? My favorite things to do in my practice are my meditation and like astral journeying. That's like my most favorite thing to do. It's so good when I'm burnt out and I don't really have energy anymore. And it really helps to re-energize me. The thing I hate the most is finding correspondences that work for me, because I'm such an A-type brain person that I obsess a little bit where I need to have like the perfect ingredients for my spell, and I also am a maximalist in a lot of ways, so I feel like I need to have as much as possible to make the spell like successful sometimes, and I feel like that's not necessarily like accurate. Actually, what I've learned a lot from Ivy, what I learned a lot from you is that you don't really necessarily need to have all the things, and I thank you for that. So I'm starting to work on that a little bit and try to get out of that perfectionist mindset. I do it with everything, with my thumbnails, with my audio, and it stops me from doing anything. And sometimes it ends up being that I postponed something for so long that in the end it didn't even like have good audio because it took so long, and I just settled where I could have like maybe filmed like 10 or more videos instead of the one, for example. But yeah, I hate finding correspondences for anything, but I love creating spell workings and like ideas around spells. So it's just like the finding the ingredients that like gets me a little bit. It's my Achilles heel. Okay, and then this question was left on one of my videos, and I said I would answer it in the Q&A. So this one is from Celestial Being XD9994. So they say, I'm newly coming into this community and I have a question with candles. I know I need to change out often, but do I need to keep them burning constantly? It's a good question to ask. Can I blow them out and relight them every day? What if I'm not able to be near my altar, etc.? Okay, so basically, you don't need to leave your candles burning all the time. Please don't, actually. Unless you're in like the vicinity, I would never like suggest you leave your candles burning because of fire safety. You know, like taking a moment to sit with your deity. Like for myself, I am dedicating my work with my YouTube channel and my online business that I'm eventually going to launch to Mercury or Hermes, and his candle is lit every time I'm doing work towards that. So I snuff it out. You can either snuff it out with a candle, with your fingers. Some believe that it's rude to blow on spirit of fire, so it depends on how much of an animist you are, I guess, when it comes to that. I try not to blow them out. I try to just snuff them for myself, just because, I don't know, I don't feel like it blows away the magic, but I feel like it's just rude for a spirit. You wouldn't want to blow in anyone's face, but everyone's belief system's different, so it depends on what you think with that. And yeah, you change them out when you feel like you need to. I don't waste my candles, I reuse them. So when this candle wax burns down, I'm probably going to redo another candle with it and maybe add like a layer of white and then just the mixed orange and yellow together at the bottom. And I like to reuse my wax that way. So if you're using it for the same kind of purpose or the same like intention, then there's no reason why you couldn't like reuse the wax. So I hope that answers the question there. Yeah, so if you have any other questions going forward, just let me know, or if I'm confusing you at all, just let me know in the comments below and I can like clarify. And this was just a question that like was left on my channel a while ago, but I kind of wanted to bring it up because it was really important for me too. I think it would be like a really good one to focus on. I had already answered it in the comment, but you know, I think it's something to think about. So I had a question: do you have to be into witchcraft in order to work with Aphrodite? I'm a member of NA. I'm not sure what NA is, so if you're seeing this, the person who commented, let me know down below, or if you guys know what that is, let me know. I feel super closely connected to Aphrodite and just the essence of love, intimacy, and connection. I view that as my higher power. Can I still have an altar towards her, pray to her, give her gifts to her, etc. successfully without engaging in witchcraft? Now, this is something that I feel like is like mixed up a lot, because a lot of people who are into witchcraft, they're also spiritual, and because that we're sharing a lot of our experiences online, a lot of it can get blurred without people realizing that witchcraft is a practice in Northern America, like on this side of the world. I know there's practices where it's not a choice to be a witch, it's either a gift and it's something that is given to you by spirit. But here in like the Americas and in Canada, like for the most part, it is a choice, it's a practice. Witchcraft is a practice, and deity work is a religious stance. So it'll always be separate in that way. A lot of people work with them together. Like for myself, I work with deities to further my spiritual path and my witchcraft and the results that I manifest in life. And I think that's where people get confused a lot. But you don't have to work with deities to like be a witch. That is more so like a veneration to a deity because you feel called to them. So you're either like a monotheist or a pantheonist, I guess you would call it. I don't know. You believe in pantheon, so you're like a polytheist, that's the word. So it's a different thing altogether. So if I need to, I can make a video on like the differences between witchcraft, paganism, Wicca, that kind of thing, to clear that up. There are different witchcraft paths, yes, that work with deity, like Wicca. But if you choose to just be a witch, awesome. If you choose to just work with deity because you're called to and you want to venerate and honor them, awesome. If you want to work with them with also your witchcraft path, awesome. Just know that you don't want to work with something that is a closed path. So I hope that was clear. Those are my questions for today. If you guys want to throw in a question for the next time, let me know down in the comments below or in the community tab. And yeah, I'm gonna probably go because it's blazing hot in this room. And I love you all so very much. Thank you so much for the questions you submitted. And thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It has meant so very much to me, and I can't wait to make more content for you. If you guys want anything to be seen onto the channel, let me know in those areas that I mentioned before, and I will look into creating that content for you. And I have some amazing announcements coming up very soon, so make sure you stay tuned and have that bell notification turned on, and make sure you check out the last video that I posted here. I'll have it at the end screen for you, where I shared my 13 small creators tag or channel shoutouts tag. I forgot the name already, but I share a bunch of lovely YouTubers that I love so very much. So make sure you go and give those creators love because they work so very hard and they deserve it. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.